a form of assault. And yes, keeping something within someone's autonomous body without their consent should be a crime. I mean, this is a crime against human rights. I don't care if something is conceived. Just because a baby is conceived does not mean it has a right to impose its existence on a non-consenting adult or a non-consensual minor. In a lot of states, if you're pregnant or have a life-threatening illness, you have medical emancipation. You can have an abortion, well, when I was a kid, in many states, even if you were 14 years of age, without parental support. Because when it's your body, it should give you that emancipation. And we do not view women with a shred of respect. If that were true, our vice president, unfortunately, wouldn't say things like, boys will be boys. This comes right out from the textbook that young people learn in purity culture. This is why I call purity religious culture rape culture. The idea that boys will be boys shows that there is no consistent accountability with how men behave. According and under the law, anyone who does anything over the age of 17 is legally and morally responsible for what they say, how they say it, what they do, and what they cause to happen. Just because you don't mean to hurt somebody or kill someone doesn't mean you won't go to prison. And even if you're a minor, you can get the death sentence and you can get lifetime in jail without parole. Because if you do an adult crime, you do the adult time. And I don't care how old someone is, whether they're 10 years old or 50. If you call a woman a bad word, you're a bad person. Hopefully, it's a child and you can easily fix the situation. If a 20-year-old man makes a comment about how women are disposable and talks about their political adversaries like, and they talk about stuff you don't see unless you watch Schindler's List. A 20-year-old knows what's right and wrong. They know what not to say. They know that if they get caught, they may lose everything. They don't care. They don't care. Because our society cares more about a male rapist losing their college scholarship than they care about a woman whose autonomy and ability to sleep through the night has been taken away. There are judges out there that believe it's better to allow a male rapist to spend their time served or with an ankle monitor without going to prison than for a white or a man to experience repercussions and consequences for the actions he really enjoyed doing. My opinion is, regardless of your gender, if you commit a predestined, pre-planned crime, I don't care what is in your future. You deserve to go to prison. I don't care if you have 7 offers from the biggest and most prestigious Ivy Leaguers. If you force yourself on somebody, you run someone down while you're drunk, you lose your future. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're on Medicaid. I don't care if you are related to somebody who donated money to Harvard. You lose your future. Until our society cares more about punishing white, spoiled brats than they care about just, well, he committed the crime, but we don't want to have an issue with his life. I mean, seriously. there's really not many consequences anymore. At least now with social media, people don't take crap like that. You can lose your job. You can lose your influence, your platform. And now, if you say hateful things, you might die. I mean, that's the reason why Charlie Kirk died. Somebody who was a fan of his heard what he said and decided, you know what, I don't want I don't want this person spreading hate anymore. So every time somebody types or uploads something onto the internet that's hateful, they need to know that it may cost them everything. Their job, their family, social and political respect. It might cost them an election. It might cost them their good name. It might cost them their freedom. It might cost them their very life. Because we care more about inconveniencing a male rapist than we do a woman who should be able to walk anywhere on a college campus with earphones in and not have to worry about a guy jumping out from behind a bush or going out on a blind date with someone she knows who roofies her. And the information I was taught as a fundamentalist Christian always centered around man's comfort. It always centers around what men can get out of anything. That's why sex education, when it comes to abstinence only, it always centers around males. I mean, you look up in the Webster Dictionary. When I was a child, sex was always about how a man responds to anything. When a man's done, that's when the average person thinks sex is over. I honestly wonder if everything was tilted in women's favor, which I don't want. But if it was, can you imagine the indignity, the outrage men would immediately show if they did not have the privilege that they think is so normal, they can't even see it as privilege. My own sister, when I talked to her about, why are you staying silent? Why aren't you protesting? Why aren't you making videos or releasing information where you can help people, stop being apathetic? It doesn't affect me. And I said, of course not. You're white, privileged, you're Christian, you're part of the 3 most protected, celebrated, and safest groups in America. That's why she doesn't get off her butt. She's so complacent, she thinks nothing will happen to her. And I always say, if you wait too long to protect other people, there won't be nobody protesting when they come for you because they'll all be gone. And if you don't protest, and you don't have to go out in the street, that's just one way to protest. Even though I hope 98% of people who actually care about where our country is heading went out and protested or encouraged people to protest. There are ways to protest. Every video I upload that isn't a video where I drive or a video about my employment, everything else is a protest against injustice, stupidity, and just Christian hatred. I don't make these videos to be popular. I make these videos so maybe there's one person listening that can internally say, you know what, that happened to me, and I thought it was normal. But it's gaslighting. It's abuse. It's the patriarchy that wants to hurt people. If people knew the names for toxic behavior, they might stand a chance. And just because something has been done one way for thousands of years doesn't make it okay. Even my own sister said that slavery wasn't a bad thing. Anything that violates the dignity, sovereignty, value, and autonomy of another human